The assassination that started World War I. Imagine changing the course of history. With a single bullet. One ordinary summer morning, a young man stood on a crowded street. He wasn't a king. He wasn't a general. He wasn't even a famous politician. Yet within a few minutes, his actions would drag dozens of nations into war, cause the deaths of millions, and reshape the entire world. One mistake, one unexpected turn, one trigger. Before we begin, don't forget to like and subscribe for more fascinating history stories. Because today, we're uncovering the incredible story of the assassination that started World War I. Our story begins in Europe, in the summer of 1914. At that time, Europe looked peaceful, but beneath the surface, it was ready to explode. The continent had become divided into powerful alliances. If one country went to war, its allies would follow. It was like a line of dominoes, waiting for the very first push. At the center of the story stood one man, Archduke Franz Ferdinand. He was the heir to the Austro-Hungarian Empire. Many expected him to become emperor one day. On June 28, 1914, Franz Ferdinand and his wife Sophie traveled to Sarajevo, a city in Bosnia. The visit was meant to demonstrate the empire's authority. Instead, it became one of history's greatest disasters. Unknown to the Archduke, a group of young Serbian nationalists had been planning his assassination for weeks. They believed Bosnia should no longer remain under Austro-Hungarian rule. Among them was a 19-year-old student named Gavrilo Princip. Several assassins positioned themselves along the Archduke's route. Each carried weapons, bombs, or pistols, knowing they would likely never escape alive. Then, the royal motorcade appeared. The first assassin lost his courage. He did nothing. Moments later, another conspirator threw a bomb toward the Archduke's car. But disaster struck. The bomb bounced off the folded roof, rolled underneath the next vehicle, and exploded. Several officers were wounded. The Archduke survived. The assassination had failed, or so everyone believed. Franz Ferdinand continued to the city hall. Despite the attack, he insisted on continuing his visit. Afterward, it sounded like a simple change of plans. But that single decision would change the history of the world forever. What happened next could never have been predicted, because history was about to be shaped by one unbelievable coincidence. As the Archduke's motorcade left the city hall, they were supposed to take a different route, avoiding the streets where the attack had happened. But something went terribly wrong. The lead driver didn't know the plan had changed. He turned onto the wrong street. An officer immediately shouted, "Wrong way." The driver hit the brakes and began reversing the car. It lasted only a few seconds, but those few seconds changed history forever. Standing just a few meters away, completely by chance, was Gavrilo Princip. After the failed bombing, he believed the mission was over. He had stopped near a small cafe. Then, unbelievably, the Archduke's car came to a stop directly in front of him. He couldn't believe his eyes. History had given him a second chance. Princip stepped forward. He drew his pistol. 2 shots echoed through the street. One bullet struck Archduke Franz Ferdinand. The other hit his wife, Sophie. Witnesses later reported that the Archduke's final words were directed toward her. Within minutes, both were dead. News spread across Europe with incredible speed. At first, many believed it was simply another political assassination. They couldn't have been more wrong. Austria-Hungary blamed Serbia. Germany promised to support Austria-Hungary no matter what happened. Russia prepared to defend Serbia. France backed Russia. Britain watched the growing crisis with increasing concern. The alliances that had kept Europe balanced now pulled country after country into conflict. Within weeks, Europe was at war. Soon, the fighting spread far beyond Europe. Asia, Australia, Canada, and the Middle East became the largest war humanity had ever witnessed. More than 16 million people lost their lives. Ancient empires disappeared forever. The Austro-Hungarian Empire collapsed. The Ottoman Empire fell. The German Empire came to an end, and the map of Europe was completely redrawn. Many historians also believe that the First World War created the conditions that eventually led to the Second World War, which means those 2 shots fired in Sarajevo didn't just start one war. They helped shape the entire 20th century. Even today, the street where the assassination happened still exists. Visitors from around the world come to see the place where history changed forever. It's a powerful reminder that sometimes the biggest events in history begin with moments that seem almost impossible to believe. A wrong turn, a man standing in exactly the right place, at exactly the right time. So, if the driver had never taken that wrong turn, would World War I still have happened? Or would history have taken a completely different path? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss another fascinating journey through history. Because history isn't just about dates. It's about the moments, the decisions, and the people who changed the world forever. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.